And now that was in regard to pulses as an alternative to what farmers are used to in the country. Now, in my hands, I'm holding a ball. It's not just any ball. It's a Sustainable Development Goals ball. And on it are written all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Many of us don't really care much about some of this stuff, but it actually matters. When you care about gender equality, you care about zero hunger and climate action, and having a world that has no poverty, I'm sure this is what would actually mean when we're talking about sustainable development goals or a sustainable planet. My cameraman is trying to get a hang of what is written on here, but it's just the 17 sustainable development goals. And of course, there's some of them like climate action. The country or parts of the country at the moment are experiencing some dire weather conditions, or what we commonly refer to as drought. And so how much action can be taken before we can see some of these weather conditions change? In studio, we have with us the head of the Global Goals World Cup, and she's here to tell us more about the role of women in ensuring we achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
A lot has been said about how women are not that active when it comes to the Millennium Development Goals we wound up in 2015 and the Sustainable Development Goals that we started on. But what role can women play?
I think women can play a huge role in these. I think actually a lot of women already does. I mean, there's a lot of work going on around the world where women are taking action for quality education and for health. And I mean, all of the goals, not just some of them. You see, maybe we understand that we matter, and we understand more and more if we get together, then we can actually participate in creating some change that are really necessary.
All right, and speaking of change that is necessary, you actually came up with the Global Goals World Cup. What is it about?
Well, I mean, in a sense is that if we can get the world of sports to take action for the Sustainable Development Goals, I think that we can make a tremendous amount of change, because we reach people at a very young age. So for me, it was in a sense as a sports organization using myself as an example. So making a football with the development goals on them, creating conversations, and then creating a Global Goals World Cup where I invite women onto the field because we need to go onto the field, but I invite them in a sense of saying that we have to do something that matters. So it's amateur women that are playing, but you pick one goal that you're passionate about and you want to sweat for, and then you go onto the field and play football for that goal. So it's kind of an activist World Cup in a sense, and we can see that when we as groups work together, we create better change than if it's just individual, me doing something, you doing something, but if we do something together.
Right.
That's why, in a sense, it's symbolic of sport. It's so passionate and amazing.
Are there particular goals that are directly speaking to women around the world?
I mean, I think many of them. Of course, Goal 5, which is gender equality, is a big issue, and then we can also see the teams, the 28 teams that are playing here on Sunday, is there's, I think, at least 5, 6 of them that are playing for gender equality. It matters for us because you kind of think, really? I mean, are we here? Are we not? Why are we here, in this conversation?
Right.
You shouldn't even be on this ball in a sense, because, of course, it should just be gender equality in the world.
All right, so in 2016, this was rolled out. That was in Copenhagen, and Kenya is now hosting this cup. What should we expect? What is the participation of women like in it? What more can we actually say? How do we localize these goals to make sure that at least women in the country and around the continent do understand the role that they can play?
I think when you create a body memory, in a sense, so that means that you could actually physically go onto the field with somebody else and you are going to yell, peace and justice, goal 16. You create a body memory, and that lasts more than anything.
Yeah.
You will go home, you will be happy, friends will comment, they would have been there seeing you. So we're trying to, in a sense, make a way where we can not just tell people about the goals, but actually for them to take actions and play for them. And we can see in the teams, because you get points for the action that you do for the goal you pick, you see so many women around. I mean, and there's people from Somalia and Ethiopia and Mazabit and Mombasa. I mean, there are teams coming from all over, and they are really getting their community to support them showing up for this
All right.
tournament.
What numbers are we looking at in terms of those who are participating in the cup?
So it's 28 teams playing. So normally it's like at 24 is the standard, but there was just a few extra that I just had to get in there because they were just amazing. So 28.
All right. And this is all non-profit?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us and talking to us about the global goals. Remember, you can also take part in it. All you have to do is pick one sustainable development goal and also participate. In case there is a team that is playing this week, you can show your support by going there and supporting them, watching them, and physically spreading the word across social media. Well, we've come to the end of the show, and we've been speaking to the founder of Global Goals World Cup, and she's been talking to us much about the importance of these global goals to us. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, and we've come to the end of the show, and we'll wind up by taking a look at our Twitter poll question, where we asked, do you think Safaricom should split from M-Pesa? Let's take a look at what you had to say right here, if you just might let me. About 52% of you say yes, Safaricom should split from M-Pesa, and 49% are saying no. Actually, the results just changed. 51% of you are saying yes, it should split from Safaricom, and 49% of you are saying no, it shouldn't. Let me read about two tweets from your feedback. Jacob Adera, you're saying yes, Safaricom should run its telecommunications business and leave M-Pesa on its own. Sam Deritu, you're saying if it's for the benefit of ordinary Mwananchi, then yes. And Anthony Langat, you're saying as the company grows, it can split and as well merge, permitted. There we go. Those are some of your views coming through. And thank you all for taking part in our Twitter poll question and the rest of the show as well. Coming up next is Worldview. My name is Joy Doreen Bira.